Hello. All right. We are live. We are live. We are live. I'm definitely hoping that folks join me this morning or afternoon because I'm actually on the West Coast. So hopefully you'll join me and we can chat a little bit. For those of you who do not know who I am, Sana Rasul, Chief Girlfriend at HR Girlfriends. Super excited to be here. Um, I don't get online as often as I used to, but it's always nice to reconnect. So I'm on live today because I want to just join the conversation that's floating around and just talk to you about a few things HR related. So I'm hoping that we get some folks joining. I see some folks on LinkedIn are here. Say hi and tell me where you're watching me from. I'd love to see where everybody's calling in from. So today I'm talking about the culture code. And there's this book by this gentleman named Daniel Coyle. And I run a peer advisory group for women in HR who want to get connected to their peers, want to do better at networking, and also learn at the same time. And we've been having this conversation about the great resignation, right? And I just finished watching Trevor Noah's comedic rendition about his thoughts on the great resignation. And it's interesting because I haven't really heard a lot of conversation around the impact on culture. Now, I am not for anybody not getting what they need and want, right? So I'm all about virtual work, remote work. I'm all about that. But it's interesting to figure out what are we going to do about the culture, right? Because that used to be a big deal. And so it's like if you are joining an organization and you don't have the ability to connect and grow and be mentored and advised and be visible, well, those were the benefits of the culture at most organizations. So, what are we going to do about it? Right. And then you think, okay, so where does great culture come from? Like, how do you build and sustain it in your group, right? Or your organization, or strengthen a culture that needs fixing? I know for a fact because I talked to lots of women and men in HR. Many of us went remote in March of last year because of the pandemic, but our cultures were way broken, way, way, way broken. And in fact, it was a relief to not have to be in that culture. So I would imagine if you were in toxicity, you're like, heck no, could care less, I'm fine because at least I get to have a peace of mind. But what about those that were in good cultures, right? There are organizations that have spent time, money, really pulling together this awesome culture. And now you don't have that. Or you have some portion or version of it in the best way you can virtually. So I'm really looking to see what intellectual thought leaders around this topic and in HR, what SHRM, what others are going to be talking about around culture. Because I've thought about it, right? And the truth of the matter is that I don't have an answer, right? Like, I guess it will take a collective of folks to really come together and have that conversation. You know, what are we doing about the culture? Because it's interesting. I teach diversity, equity, and inclusion to Fortune 100 and 500 companies. And I started doing that during the pandemic. And I love the work. But one of the things that I talk about most often in diversity, equity, and inclusion is this difference or this concept of culture fit versus culture add, right? And so I'm teaching these organizations and their leaders and even their more junior staff about not looking for people to join your organization that are just going to fit in with you. That's not promoting diversity, equity, or inclusion, right? And that you're looking for someone to add to it. But when you're virtual, how in the heck do you know that, right? How do you how do you know at its fullest that someone's truly adding to the culture, or does it even matter when you're virtual? So I have more questions, I think, than answers, which is why I decided that I was going to select culture code book as the listening book that we would do for this month with the HR peer advisory. So if you've not heard about the HR peer advisory group, it is a group designed to allow you to do all the things that great leaders do, but we've refined it. So the culture code, while it is a book yay thick, you get to have a Cliff Note version in audio. So, no more than 15 minutes, you get the full concept of what the culture code is all about, what are the main topics, what you should get from it, and how to move forward to see how you can apply some of the major highlights of the whole book into your day to day career, your organization, etc. And so that's what I love. I always read these lists that say, really great leaders read 50 books a year. Holy cow. I'm like, and they get up at 5 a.m. and they have real lives and they still eat meals and they still do what else? So I'm always looking for ways to consume more information, but in ways that are manageable. So that's what I love about this peer advisory group that I host is because you get to actually consume as many books as you want, but we've condensed it for you. If you're more of a visual learner, the actual 15-minute audio Cliff Note version is in writing. So you can then read it if you prefer versus audio. So we've thought about everything for the most part. But then community, right? Can you imagine getting on a call and being in contact with women across the US, even some international, who are progressive in their space? And you would have never met them had you not joined the peer advisory group, or really any community where people are coming together with common purpose. So I'm excited about the culture code, especially in light of all the things happening with the great resignation. But it's really important that we join these types of conversations. We can't let working remotely prevent us from progressing in our careers. It'll be really the worst mistake ever, right? Because what's not slowing down is technology and business and advancements. Those things aren't slowing down because we work at home. So it's super, super awesome that we get to do this. And I'm checking to see who I see online so I can give a shout out or two because I really want to make sure that I don't miss anybody. But that's really what I came on for. I really want to make sure that we keep the conversation going, that we make sure that we are not leaving anything on the table, and that you're connecting with each other. Because guess what? The other part about this great resignation that I think is interesting is that there are way more HR roles on the table than ever before. And I think one of the challenges that HR professionals are going to find is yes, you want remote work, but will you pass up on an opportunity to grow if you have to go into the office? What if this is the opportunity to advance to the next level, but it requires you're in the office a couple of days a week? Would you say no, right? And so, really getting a sense of what others are doing, what other organizations are doing, how are they approaching other topics, and how they're approaching their decisions to stay remote or not, I think is really helpful. One, so that you can come to the table with your organization, right? With some really good business arguments about what's happening and what others are doing in the space, even if it's not in your specific industry. It's really important we keep a pulse. And you can't keep a pulse if you're not in the mix, right? And so I definitely want to put that out there. Some other really cool things we're doing at HR Girlfriends is we have social media. So one of the things I realized is that while HR Girlfriends and other groups have LinkedIn groups, which are really sort of stagnant, like if you've been in one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. While it's great to be in a group of thousands, some are having conversations through threads and discussion threads. Some are just kind of doing nothing and they're dormant. And that's really not what a group's about, right? And so I also take a look at Facebook and I've been grappling with do I bring the community to Facebook so they can have more interaction with each other when we're not doing live or virtual events. So I toyed with this idea of joining in on another platform where people could not only do very much of the same things they do on LinkedIn and Facebook, but it gives you an opportunity to really get to the heart of questions that trouble you, getting advice, and you can do it anonymously. What's super cool about our platform, and it's hrcypher.com, HRCYPHER.com, is that yes, you go in, you create a profile, you are you, but you can respond and or post anonymously. Now, we know that that could lead to some interesting things, but we believe that all of the women in HR, especially the ones connected to HR girlfriends, are professional, that they're going to respect themselves and their colleagues. And so we really put that worry behind us. But what that allows you to do is to ask questions anonymously so you can really get real help. And even if your boss is in the group, so what? Truth of the matter is, unless you put something so specific that they can't deny it's you, they won't know it's you, right? And so that anonymity allows you to navigate different groups. We have groups which we call ciphers, and they run everything from talent to diversity. We talk about inclusion. We have groups for working moms in HR because obviously they have a unique need. We've tried to think of all the things that are important to women and also specifically women in HR. So definitely check out hrcypher.com. I think you'll find it to be a really great site to jump in on. Now, one of the things is you'll want to sign up on our website. So just go to hrgirlfriends.com and scroll to the middle of our homepage, jump in, grab the registration form, put your name, your email address in, and then boom. And then from there on out, you're headed to hrcypher.com. It is mobile friendly. So while we don't have an app for it, you really don't miss anything. Like when you jump on hrcypher.com on your phone, Android, iPhone, it is a beautiful mobile experience. So you can do it on the go. I know we don't commute anymore, but whenever you have something or you want to share information, that's the part about it. I want you in there sharing information. So the more people we have, the better the community will be. So I hope you will try it out. And what else do we have? Like, there's so many good things that we've been trying to work on during the pandemic. But we are also here to help you identify new employment, right? We have a career board, which I think is super awesome. And one of the things about our career board that's sweet is that we have actively employers going there on a daily, weekly basis, paying for resumes of candidates that have signed up as job seekers because they know that HR Girlfriends is an active, thriving, very, very engaged community and they want in, right? They know that it's the passive candidate. It's the candidate that's not scouring the job boards that potentially may be an option for them. So whether you're actively in the market or you would be open to an opportunity of a lifetime, sign up as a job seeker. Go right to our website, hrgirlfriends.com, click on the Career Center, and you'll see the Job Seeker tab. Because just uploading your resume allows you to be seen by hundreds, if not thousands, of potential employers across the country. You may notice we do Career Monday every Monday, and those jobs are all over the United States. And that's exactly the types of employers that you will have viewing your resume. But if you're looking to fill your HR jobs, you may have noticed recently we did some extra promotion for the John F. Kennedy Performing Arts Center in Washington, D.C. They are a client of our job board. They have two positions, a benefits manager and an HR business partner. And they wanted to make sure that they got in with HR Girlfriends to get high visibility, and they're off and running. So if we can help you with that, just jump online. We're always accessible. We want to support you. If you're looking to get certified, we offer the APHR. So anyone who is new to HR or knows someone who's dying to get in, as we know, there's no secret recipe and it's harder. It gets harder and harder every year to enter HR. But you can put your best foot forward with the APHR because it requires no HR experience to sit for the exam and the certification. So I just want to thank everyone for supporting the HR Girlfriends community, for watching us grow, for supporting us up close, afar. It's all been worth it because my mission is to ensure that we take care of the whole woman. HR Girlfriends is a holistic experience, which is why our programming impacts women in HR personally and professionally. And so we want to keep doing more of that. And it's going to take you staying engaged, telling others about us to make sure we can do that. So until the next time, I hope to see you at our HR peer advisory. And I told you all about the culture code. That is Wednesday, the 27th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Jump on our events page at hrgirlfriends.com, grab your seat, and let's get in this peer advisory so we can grow your career. Talk to you guys soon.